Okay, so I see we are not many people in this meeting this morning. We're going to start with Web API today. And what is that, you think? So it's yeah, if you have a look on this API, what it stands for, it's I think it's like application programmable interface or something like that. But it's actually something that you could use your own code to connect to something that is returning data to you, or you send data to that. So in this case, with the Web API, it's a server running wherever on whatever server, and you can connect to it and do the things that the server is offering you. You will see more in the examples we will be doing, so you understand what to use it for. If we have a look on today's schedule, just a moment, you will see that we have day 34 here now. It's ASP.NET Web API. So I'm going to show you first just how to start it up, and then you will have this first link is a tutorial that you should follow. So you will get a look on that from the inside also, how it works. We're going to use a tool called Postman. It's making it possible to test your web API. So without having any application running against the API, you could use this Postman to test. There also is a Pluralsight video, and there's also some explanation about JSON. So JSON is used as the format that is the API is returning data and retrieving data with. But you will also see that how it's working. So just explaining what's on today's schedule. This afternoon we're gonna make an API with the cars. So we're gonna have a cars database on the server, and we're gonna have this API that is connected to the server. Tomorrow we're gonna connect our HTML page that we had with the cars, and that will connect to this API also. So you could see how it's working with the. So we're not leaving front end completely. It will be there in the background all the time. So if you check on how to start up with the Web API, you could do it with the Visual Studio. Now we're going back to the normal Visual Studio in our examples. Those of you that managed to do it with the Studio Code, you can do it also. But we're going to run our examples in this normal Visual Studio community. There is a newer version. Some of you have seen that. I am running in Visual Studio 2019. There is the version 2022. You could use that also. Then you will be running. We will be running in the .NET 5 version when we are running this older Visual Studio. So if you run with a newer Visual Studio, you could run with the .NET version 6. Or you could choose to use version 5 network, the .NET. So these examples are working with any of these versions, so there should be no problem. The links, I think with the Pluralsight, I can't remember, but I think it's talking about the version 5. But it doesn't matter. You will have the same content in the version 6. So we're gonna start Visual Studio then. So I start Visual Studio. I didn't have it running. So we're gonna use a template. Start a new project or create a new project. We're gonna use something called ASP.NET Core Web API. So if you don't find it in the list, you could just type in API in the search box, for example, and you will see here. It pops up in the first position, ASP.NET Core Web API. So choose this one. There's almost the same one. A little bit down here, you see ASP.NET Core Web App. We're not going to use that one. So this is the one you want to use. So that one with the part API. There's another one also here with it says that you can create API web applications. So this is with the old, still maybe running .NET framework, not the core version. We are using the core. So we go on with the next. I'm gonna name it Web API. Today's date, like that. And just go on with next. Now you end up with a lot of options here. You could choose from, those of you running the newer Visual Studio could choose from .NET 5 or 6. So it's up to you. There's a lot of other questions. We're not gonna change anything of these default settings now. But authentication is like having, so you could secure your who's using your applications and so on, but we're not going to use it yet. We will come back to authentication when we start with the MVC. The API and the MVC are using the same platform, so it's most things are similar or same. But we're not going to check in any other options here. We're just going to run with default here. So I press create. So where did it disappear? Yes, here it is. So this is what you get from the default template. You will see in the Solution Explorer we have a few folders, and we have some files also here. So we're not going to go any deeper into what each file is now. You will see the similar setup with the MVC also. So we're gonna take it step by step. But what you could see from if you check the program, for example, it's just doing some creating an host, and finally it says use startup. So startup is the configuration part of this project. So this startup here is what's actually setting up what to use. So you will this startup is also same that we're going to use later on in MVC, but inside here it's telling you what things to have in your in your API and what to run. So you will see it's a lot of things here. Something called Swagger. You think, what is Swagger? You will see it soon, I tell you. So we're just gonna run with these things and not go any deeper into it yet. You will get some information also in the tutorial about it. So, but there are some things inside here, like under properties, there's some launch settings. It's telling like what address to start up this server in, because this will be running in the background when you start it. So when we are doing the examples, this API will be running in the background. It's like a server, so it needs to be up and running before you can access it. So over here are some settings. It's telling you there's no Windows authentication, so it's not secured in any different way. It says what ports to use and so on. But the interesting part for us is in the controller. That is where the things are happening. So you will see in the controller section here is one file. It's called the weather forecast controller. So this is part of the template. So they had set together some simulated data for some weather information. So this template is runnable right away. So you could actually run it without doing any settings at all. So this controller part is going to be the main part also with MVC. So everything runs through the controller. So the same thing this afternoon when we are going to add a car, we're going to add a new controller and name it car, for example. So we could access that one also from the outside. So this, if you check what this is doing, actually, it has one method that is simulating some data. It's putting in a date, a temperature which is a random number between -20 and +55 degrees, and the summary is just some text describing the weather. So I think we're going to run this and you will see what's actually happening. So you see where this data is used. So now this server is up and running. And I mentioned there was something called Swagger that was in the part of the startup. Here it says add Swagger, and it says later on use Swagger. So Swagger is such like a help to see what services that are available on this API. So this is started up at the same time because of this startup. So this Swagger is not necessary to run, but it's like a help when you're developing. So what this actually tells you that it's having one service that you can access, and it's weather forecast. So if I click here, I have a button for try it out. Sorry for my cold is making my voice strange. So if I press try it out, I get an execute button. And if I press this one, I will get a result from the server. So this is actually calling this API in the background here now. So it's returning up. Sorry for that. So you will see that here's a response body. And it has like 5 different objects inside. You see, it's a little bit like JavaScript arrays, but this is JSON actually. So this is the format called JSON. But you see there is like 5 of these objects inside here, and if you check on the controller again, that the weather forecast controller, you will see here it's not so clear, but it says that it's returning 5 data here. So this is the data that we see in the Swagger page. So date, temperature, and a summary. So going back here, you see its temperature is in Celsius and Fahrenheit, and then we have a summary. It says freezing on the first one here. And not the first one, but in one of these. So these are just simulated data that is coming out from this. We're gonna have a better data with the cars in this afternoon. So this is just showing you how you can start directly with the template, and you will have a running web API right away. We're also going to use another tool to test these APIs, and it's called Postman. You had a link also for that. I have installed Postman already. So this is an app I'm running on my computer. You will have the links and so on, so it's should be no problems. It started out like an extension in Chrome when I started using it many years ago, and I think they're saying that you could use it now like an app on your computer instead. So I have installed it here, and it's a lot of settings here, and you could store your. We're gonna do it here with this weather forecast. You could like add this URL that you have for the forecast. You could see it also in the Swagger page. You could see the request URL. So this is the URL that we are accessing the weather forecast with. So if I copy this URL and use it in my Swagger, for example, here, I have a GET here. That is the type of the communication with the HTTP. So you could choose from many, but the normal ones are like GET, POST, PUT, and DELETE. You recognize them as this will be the crude similarity with this. So we're going to use this when we are doing our cars. So when we want to get something, we use GET, or we're going to create something, we're going to use POST. And if we want to update something, we're going to use PUT. And if we delete something, we're going to use DELETE. So now I'm using GET, and if you see on the server again here, you see there's a thing telling you HTTP GET here. So this is a GET function. So I'm actually just having this telling this Postman that this is a GET, and I have the URL, and I use send here. And you will see I will get the same answer as I saw in the Swagger page also. Not the same data exactly, because this is running to the server, and the server is generating some random data again. So you will see it on the date also that it's just created right now. So you will, each time you make this call, it will get new data. So if I press send again, and you check the date information here, you will see that it's a new date. Yeah, it's still 9:20, but the seconds are changing. So this is calling the server. So if I have like add a breakpoint here inside the server, for debugging. So, and I go back to the Swagger here and I press send again here. It will stop inside the code on the server here. So it's ending up in this get. And this get is just generating some random data for the temperature. So in this, what is great with this Postman is that you could build up a collection of things. So I mean, a web API could have a lot of different calls you could have. So you could build up a library here with all the different kind of these URLs for getting data or for sending data. So this is a great tool to test your API that it's working correctly. So it could be like you're just developing an API, and someone else is using your API for the data later on. So you don't have your own client that is using the API. So this is a great tool to test your API that it's actually working as you were thinking. So you could send in different kinds of URLs and data and a lot of things. You will have some information about it also in the links today. And the tutorial you will be following is also using Postman, so you will get to use it also. So do we have any questions on this? It's as always, it's crystal clear. You know everything.
This for the Postman we will install on a default setting, is it?
Postman is a part of the links, so you will download it and install it. So if you follow the tutorial, it will guide you through everything. So
yeah.
If you have a look on this, when you start with this API here, you will get all the instructions that are needed to. And there's also like in this Postman link, I think it's pretty much the same that it's inside here. So this is just a direct link for the Postman. Excuse me. So your mission this morning is to get through this tutorial. So you could start to use the API and play around a little bit with it. So this is a great tutorial, but try to follow it exactly, because if you do it wrong, you end up somewhere in a place where you don't want to be, maybe just making it up. But it's follow the instructions, because it's easy to make something wrong and it doesn't work then. So this is also a good exercise for you that way. So I'm not going to add anything more to this. We're going to see more about it this afternoon. So, but I think this is enough for you to start up with this tutorial. It is actually using this same startup with this template and the weather forecast, and you go on from that. So if you don't have any questions, so please start up with the first tutorial.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.